Hello, I'm Richard Quest. There is more Quest Means Business in just a moment, when Gene Simmons of KISS will be with me to tell me what artists want from the Spotifys of this world. And economic discontent in Trump country, teachers in Oklahoma walking out. As we continue, you are watching CNN, and on this network, the facts always come first. President Trump says he's calling on the US military to guard the border with Mexico until a border wall is complete. Mexico's asked for clarification after those comments, with its ambassador to the United States telling us it's not something the Mexican government welcomes. A Dutch lawyer and son-in-law of a Russian oligarch has become the first person sentenced in the US Special Counsel Robert Mueller's Russia probe. A judge sentenced Alex van der Zwaan to 30 days in prison and a $20,000 fine after he admitted that he lied to investigators. Rail workers in France have kicked off 3 months of rolling strikes. Commuters are already facing long lines and packed trains. Workers are protesting against the French president's proposed overhaul of labour laws. Unions say it could lead to the privatisation of rail travel. The government denies any such plans. The Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has reversed an agreement with the UN Refugee Agency to send more than 16,000 African migrants to Canada, Germany and Italy. In exchange, Israel was to accept thousands of others, but many among Mr. Netanyahu's coalition, as well as residents of South Tel Aviv, where the migrants live, have opposed the deal. Now let's return to the Spotify debut on the New York Stock Exchange. It comes as tech stocks face an unprecedented crisis of confidence, and that's not only the challenge for Spotify. If you join me at the Quest Means Business Jukebox, I'm sure we'll find a tune or two worthy of playing. Now, the first question, of course, for any good, sensible subscriber is how do you get more paid subscriber numbers? Getting subscriptions up is important. 71 million people currently pay Spotify subscriptions, but 90 million use its service for free. Now, it puts up with adverts between tracks. I used to be like that. I've just taken a paid subscription. Converting people like me from freebies to pays is the key, at the same time as fending off rivals, which bundle streams with other content. It's a tricky one that Spotify seems to have managed so far. Now, as Spotify's numbers increase and grown, so have the losses. This should be the turnaround year, but with the projections that the losses decline from around $460 million to just over $400 million a year. And most crucially, arguably, besides keeping me happy or pay the bills, you've got to keep the artists happy. Taylor Swift bought her music in 2014 in a dispute over her value. However, truth be told, she did return some 3 years later. So let's put this in terms, we've heard about it from Wall Street's point of view, from the investor's point of view. Now, the music point of view, Gene Simmons is the frontman of the veteran rock group KISS. He also believes new artists are getting shortchanged. Gene, good to see you, sir. You join me from Los Angeles.
Nice to see you again, Richard. I remember when you were over at the house, but that's just for you and I.
That is just for you and I, and it's not a visit I will forget in any lifetime nearby. Gene, okay, Spotify has opened up an entire new vista for artists to get their music played and into the hands of different people. But you say it's not a fair deal.
Oh, I think fair is being kind. Look, it doesn't affect me, and I've said this a few times before. KISS is America's #1 gold record award-winning group of all time. But, you know, the real money, I'm afraid people get very upset when I use that word, is in live concerts and all that stuff. Recorded music has become, unfortunately, like throwaway. It's in the cloud. It's over here. It's over there. So people can get it for free. Why should they pay for it? But I think you correctly position this in terms of a business model. And that's why I don't want to comment, wax poetic or prolific in that area. I want to go back to the poor, starving artist who's writing their first songs and recording it and so on and so forth. Spotify's worth $25 billion or so, they say. Record companies have invested in it. They're getting paid. Spotify's getting paid. Ad revenue, if that's the model, or this and that. Everybody's getting paid except the people that create the stuff that you're streaming. And on the day when there's a revolution and legislators wake up to the fact that the people that are getting shortchanged are not the fans, not anybody except the artists that create the music that goes out there. There's going to be hell to pay.
So Spotify would say, of course, that they do pay the artists. We're talking really, it's like the old, well, it's like the old line, you know, we know the price, now we're just arguing about the value, or the other way around. I mean, that's really what you're saying. You want them to be paid.
The problem is there is no discussion or argument. The problem is that legislators don't understand what publishing, writers' royalties, or anything is. They just look at, I mean, Napster came in and everybody, you know, were sitting on their thumbs, record companies included. They had no idea of the tsunami that was coming. So it's going to take a while for the laws to change. Trust me, they will change, because on the day when all the artists, or most of them, stand up and say,
okay, so
we're out of streaming my stuff. The Beatles held out forever. Something's got to change. There is no business model that works for new artists.
But until artists withdraw their support, as Taylor Swift did, then came back in. You know as well as I do, it's people like you, it's the big names that have to withdraw on the back of saying give more to those at the bottom.
That's precisely the point. That, you know, there's a historical lesson. I used to teach 6th grade, blah, blah, blah. Either it was Sparta or the Trojans. The men would constantly go to war. That was their business model. The women didn't want the men to go to war, so they decided to withhold sex. Guess what happened? The men didn't go to war. So on the day that the writers, performers, and so on wake up and force legislators to pass laws to make this a viable business for the people that create all the stuff that everybody is streaming. So everybody's getting paid billions here, billions there, except the people that write the songs.
Which, you know, you're a political realist. Are the votes in this issue to get legislators to actually take this up? Why should they? I mean, we're going to be talking in a moment or two about, you know, Oklahoma teachers and money for these.
I call it the Hillary syndrome.
Go on.
When you've got famous people right in front of the White House going, they're stealing my material, or words to that effect. And when you have enough known faces, the masses are swayed. That's what happens. Stocks plummet. Look, I don't know if you know Rihanna or a few others, they opined on social media that they no longer follow a certain technological I don't want to say their brand, because as soon as these ladies, you know, with their huge social media said they're no longer following that, the stocks plummeted. So there is power to be had in artists getting together and deciding, I don't want to give away my stuff for micro pennies on the dollar. In the old days, you'd sell one song, 2 songs on both sides for $1.20, and then it went down, and now it's micro pennies.
So last question, sir. We know it's a battle. Spotify has 70-odd million and 93 million free. You've got Apple Music. You've got Pandora. Can they all survive?
My friends in Wall Street, who I speak with regularly because I'm involved in a few ventures myself, are very bullish on Spotify. They've been able, you know, it's a Swedish company. They've been able to figure out somehow, somewhere, how to be at the right place at the right time with the right thing. Spotify is still the big dog on the block. People still prefer that over Pandora and some other things. But anything is possible. But let me tell you what I would do.
Go on.
What I would do is what Netflix did to the movie industry, is to create content that you can't avoid. So if Spotify came to us and say, Kiss, you're going to do the last show ever, it's only available on Spotify for X number of dollars, all of a sudden you have millions of people coming on and creating a new business model, which is exclusive programming. Anybody can listen to the Beatles and Led Zeppelin and Kiss on anywhere and everything. But if you create programming, you're going to get subscribers. And I want a big slice of that because I'm really important.
We would not disagree, sir. Let's not leave it too long before we get together again and talk about these issues. Thank you, sir.
My best to you.